So good day. Hi, my name is Neka Oke, and I'm a friend of the Loyster brand. And today we're going to be having a conversation with Joyce Awoshika of ORÍKì Group. I'm not going to do any of the introductions now until Joyce joins. And there she is. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how are you? Thank you.
I'm well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I'll just proceed. Joyce, can you give us a brief intro about you? Because I actually find brand Joyce almost more interesting than brand ORÍKì. And I do know that you have a very interesting background before you started your wellness business. So can you just give us a bit about yourself and then how you segued into the wellness business and how your business has transitioned from products to a franchise opportunity?
Okay, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. Okay, great. My name is Joyce Awoshika and I'm the founder of ORÍKì. ORÍKì is an all-natural farm-to-skin and wellness brand that is headquartered in Nigeria and Lagos precisely. However, we're expanding around the world, and that's what this topic is about today. However, just to share some information about myself, I am an energy economist. So I was trained in economics, and also I have a second degree in business management. And from there, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. So I found myself in Nigeria for the first time in 2011. And coming to Nigeria was an amazing experience for me to see the plethora of opportunities, just the open doors, just the ability to make an impact. And so I stayed. I moved. I relocated to Nigeria, having never been before. And I started on the journey of first working in the power sector using my energy economics background. And then I ventured into where I felt I can make major impact with one of my passions, which is, products, using natural ingredients to create luxurious personal grooming products. And that's how ORÍKì started. From starting that product range, I came up with a marketing tactic and strategy, which was to open experiences, open wellness spas and locations where we could essentially have people come in and utilize and use the all-natural products. So that's a bit about my background and my story. I am here pushing the agenda of democratizing wellness and leaving a piece of Africa with consumers around the world. And that's Joyce on the business side. And then on the personal side, I'm a mom of two boys. They're 3 and 4 years old. And I am married to a business tycoon in and of himself. I have the best mentor in business living in my house. So that's my story.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So thank you for brand Joyce. Now we're going to go to the ORÍKì brand, and then we're going to transition from there to the ORÍKì Group. So you just mentioned briefly about, farm to skin as, your business model. Can you tell us a bit about that? And then, what was your first product? And is that product still in production? And what was your first product? What was the thinking behind the farm? Because we all hear of farm to table. So what was the thinking behind farm to skin or farm to dressing table? And then how did that all transition? What was your first product, and what's your most popular product now?
Okay, great questions. So ORÍKì is a farm to skin brand. The whole idea and concept, as I mentioned, was the fact that Africa is rich. We are resource rich. We have an abundance of resources. You name it, from turmeric to hibiscus to cocoa to cola nuts to shea butter to cocoa butter. Everything I mentioned can be used in skincare and hair care products. So for me, I felt there was a huge gap in the market, in the global space. There wasn't a brand that I could pinpoint that was really competing in the global space, that was proudly African, that was really singing the story of African ingredients. And so that's how I ventured on creating a product. The first ever product I created was a facial mask using avocado and turmeric, and it is still on our shelves today. I decided to become an expert, so I started on the journey of formulating at home. My story is one where I would mix ingredients, and my parents always tell the story that they're not surprised I started this business because from a young age, I was quite interested. Even though I was in the US, I was quite interested in these ingredients and how they're used and the benefits of them. So I moved from just making these things fresh, handmade, to now becoming a formulator. So I went to the top formulation school in the UK. It was a virtual course, and I took a course to become a formulator. And then I began to garner expertise around actually how to create these retail that could be on a shelf. And then I built a team. So we started off with 39 products. I would say to anyone that was something that was a lot, and we wouldn't have do that if we were starting today. We would never have that many SKUs today. However, we started with 39 products. So when we opened in 2015 in July, that's the product range. The spa opened in October. We literally had 39 products on our shelves. And that was difficult to create a hero product, a product that people would get to know the brand with. But then we quickly realized that when we started the spa, like I said, it was a marketing strategy at first. People got to use our masks, our facials, our face creams, our eye cream, and fell in love. That was how we were able to then distinguish which products became more sticky, which products we were going to continue with, which products we were going to reformulate and reinvent. And that's where we are today.
So what is your hero product now?
So our hero product is our Farm to Skin range. We have a amazing vitamin C serum. We have 2 different types of black soaps that use turmeric and raw honey. Those fly off the shelves all around the world as far as distributors and within Nigeria, because people like the fact that it's a moisturizing black soap. And we also have a facial cream, amazing facial cream that has been consistent over the years as being one that is moisturizing, is lightweight, and people really love it.
Awesome. So, this is all such an organic transition, formulating for yourself, turning that into a brand and a product, looking for how to push your product, and without at the time having a distribution network. So you opened up your spas so that, people could experience your products, use your products, as well as get experiences. So there's no way to talk about ORÍKì without talking about the spa. Right. So some years ago, I can't even remember what year, I went for an event and I won an ORÍKì coupon, which I never used. And it was always on my shelf. And so even my kids know that there is an ORÍKì spa. Right. So can you tell us about, the ORÍKì spa and bringing that experience and also multiplying the experience, because you have a handful of spas and you launch them in quick succession. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our product range was spa grade. So it's a product range that's effective and potent in spa and for home use. So it was just a winning idea to combine the product range with the spa. And we launched the spa in October of 2015. So we just turned 6 years old on October 25th. And in 6 years, we built 7 spas. We realized quickly that there was something about creating an experience. And we were very particular about imbibing our values. And the first value that we have as a company is nurture. So pampering people, nurturing people, restoring, rejuvenating people is at the core of what we do. And we realized that when we had our true authentic voice, which was to make sure someone came into the spa and came out feeling different, feeling lighter, feeling restored, that was enough for us. That was enough marketing for us to realize that there was a gap. There was a space for people to come in, for someone to come in the market and really create a space people could feel totally relaxed and feel like they were loved and taken care of. So we started with the first spa location. We were in there for 2 years before we realized that people are asking, okay, you're in VI, can you come to Lekki? And I thought my passion, let's not forget, was the product range. At inception, I thought, are we going to really get caught up in this operational game? But the market was demanding, and we created this experience. So we went into Lekki after 2 years. And then the first location, we decided that for our next one, we wanted more space. We wanted to purpose build it. Our first, we had taken like a house and turned it into the spa. And so it wasn't really perfectly the way we would have designed it if we had a free space. So that's how we found out that, wow, there was a hotel that was looking for a spa for years. And it was a match made in heaven. We did our due diligence, started on this journey of seeing if we could take a space there, and we got a space. And that was when we went to Oriental Hotel. And I believe that Oriental Hotel in 2019 was really the turning point where we realized that, okay, our customers are demanding that we come closer to them, that we come to communities. And we realized that we had a unique model. And that was to be able to bring the spas into communities, into different areas, closer to people, and to really make people realize that wellness is a lifestyle. It's not a trend. So that was when, in quick succession, we began to open. While Oriental was being built, we were building Eden Heights. While Eden Heights was launched, we went and built another Lekki Phase 1 Yacht Hotel. Yacht Hotel was opening. We built Ikate. Ikate was opening. We were servicing Lakaway. Lakaway was opening. Now we're opening another location this weekend. We just continued to push on that agenda and then decided that, you know what, as much as we want to be everywhere and we will continue to go, we're going to the mainland, we're going to Abuja, and we're going to Kanu next. We know that we can also give people the opportunity to join us on this narrative of democratizing wellness. And it's a double win because people begin to make economic gains. You know, you own a spa business, which is very profitable, which is a very attractive business. And then they're also impacting people's lives, providing restoration services and rejuvenation services as well.
Wow. I hope somewhere in somewhere there's a plan to write a book, if you aren't already, because all of this needs to be documented. So our next point now about standards, right? So I know that you have a theme for standards, and there was a time, I don't know if you're still doing it, you had a program called SOAR, and it was pretty much pushing standards in operations of small businesses and trying to help small businesses, especially those who didn't have structured backgrounds, maybe for their founders, to be able to develop structures in their business. Now, one of the biggest challenges that I know that people face when they scale their business, especially to multiple locations, is standards, right? So you have a great restaurant, awesome experience, standard experience. Every time you go there, you know what to expect. And then they move somewhere close and you're so excited, and the building, the aesthetics is the same, but the experience is. So how have you been able to address that, even as you have scaled quickly? And then we will now talk about the franchise opportunity.
So you're absolutely right. Sustainable business is all about creating sustainable structures. You cannot build a sustainable business without systemizing your business, creating standards, standard operating procedures. And yes, SOAR is actually a company. It's a company that I'm also the MD of. However, we have a team of 6, and they work with clients around the clock to implement strategy, to implement structure, to implement processes and procedures for companies. So it is, for us at ORÍKİ, creating documentation for everything we do. So you asked about a book, and I laugh because everything in ORÍKİ is documented. So we have a standard operating procedure for every single role, for every single process in the company. That's the only way we were able to build a franchise. It took us 2 years to build the franchise, meaning that we went into the company and we literally ripped things apart. Officer, what is expected of them at any given time? It's documented. Housekeeper, business development manager, every single role, it's documented. Then we talk about processes. So how to greet a customer. It sounds like it's so nitty and gritty, but the only way you can create standards and legacy is when you document. Legacy business requires legacy documentation. So if I'm opening today and tomorrow we're going to Abuja, I'm not going to be physically in Abuja every day. And I'm not even part of operations as the MD. I don't deal with the operations of the company. So how do we ensure that the Abuja operations still gives the same experience as all the Lagos ones? Well, through our documentation, through our training, through our processes, through the structure. Structure is inclusive of systems and people. That's the definition. When you talk to SOAR, we'll tell you that structure is a combination of systems and people. So you have to be creating systems for people to win, people to soar, people to thrive, and you have to make sure your people buy into it. So I'll give you an example. A new therapist is being onboarded into the company. In their own right, they may be an expert. They may have been a therapist for over 7 years, and that's wonderful. However, they must come in and learn what we call the ORÍKİ way. So before they're even fully let out onto the floor, they shadow someone and they go through an entire process of what we call the practical. Learn our way. Learn how we take care of the rooms, aka the cabins in a spa. Learn how we greet customers, pick up customers. Learn how we do our skin analysis and consultations. These are all part of the ORÍKİ way and the ORÍKİ system. That's why if you go to McDonald's or Burger King around the world, you should have the same experience. You should taste the same burger. The burger is not going to taste different unless they decided to localize it. But if you're buying into a franchise, you have to buy into their systems. And so for us, the reason now is we literally have a documentation. I'll end with this comment on this question. Right now, we're opening a location this weekend, and our head of special projects, she has a playbook. She has a project plan. She knows every given week, countdown to the day, what has to be done. So when the sound system gets put up, when do the therapists come in for the orientation? When do we do a marketing video for the location? When do we make sure painting is done? Does painting happen before or after? That's all part of it. It is meticulous. It's to the T. And then from an operational perspective, the operations manager knows opening inventory. Everything is documented. How to staff, how to schedule customers. Everything's documented. So the answer to that question is, you want to build a sustainable business, legacy business, you have to have legacy documentation. You cannot run away from it. It's pain. It's a arduous process, but you will be so happy afterwards.
Wow, thank you so much. I think you've answered a lot of questions in that response. And of course, it takes us, as I had hoped, it takes us straight into the franchise opportunity with ORÍKì. Can you tell us at what point you decided, you know what, my addressable market is misting billion people, and I can't be misting billion locations. This is how I'm going to address the situation. Because it's very rare within our space. You talked about McDonald's. And yes, when you talked about onboarding new staff, even if they've had hands-on experience before, a lot of us carry on the baggage of our previous experiences, personalities, our cultures, nurture versus nature. So it's difficult, for me to even say good morning to someone the same way 3 days in a row, right? Talk less of asking 3 people to say the same thing, consistently if there's no structure. So how do you now, get such a winning model, a playbook, such a standardized structure, and also marry that with such knowledge of your market to be able to say there is actually this size of opportunity? And then the third thing is, so there's a structure, there's the market knowledge as well as product knowledge. And then the third thing is that honesty with yourself to be able to say, I really can't do it all by myself. How did you get to the point where, to answer the expansion question for ORÍKì, you said, let's do a franchise system?
Great question. To be honest, by year 3, I had franchise on my mind. And it was because we started facing a major problem, being fully booked. Now, I know for those of you guys listening, you might wonder, that's a good problem. It's a good problem, but it's also, sometimes it's discouraging. Sometimes customers really get upset. I mean, I'll give you an example. Right now, today is Wednesday. This weekend's bookings for all of our locations were full on Monday. You could not get a booking for Saturday or Sunday as of Monday. And now I look at the schedule. I took a glance at it because I saw somebody wanted to make a booking. They're coming in from out of the country for December 19th. And I just happened to see the email trail when I checked our contact email. And December 9th, that date was booked already. I realized that means that there's a market. And something happened after COVID. The market, it increased. The customers' interest in wanting to take care of themselves, pamper themselves, it changed. Everybody started looking at it as a priority more so than a luxury. So it increased even our demand. And when you have a problem, I'm an economist, when your demand is greater than your supply, we all know that it affects the market, and we know how it affects the market. So for us, our solution was, how do we open more locations? So we started getting phone calls of, I have this hotel. Can you guys come into this hotel? Okay, we would start vetting out locations, determining if they fit the ORÍKì standard. Sometimes they wouldn't. Some people would say, okay, can you come to my area? Our social media team was complaining and giving feedback. The people were asking every day, when are we coming to the mainland? Then people wanted longer hours. Okay, can you guys close at midnight? Can you be 24 hours? I mean, we couldn't do it all. So it said, okay, we'll continue to open locations in places where we deem best. Now in VI, as of this weekend, we're going to have 3 locations in VI. And you're wondering, VI, Now, on one street, we cannot put 2 locations or even within 5 miles. But the question is, we have a system in which we know what vicinity we can place another location in that will not cannibalize the market. So by year 3, I started thinking, how are we going to scale? How are we going to expand without the fact that we've never taken investment to grow the business? Every location that has opened from our own proceeds. So I started thinking about franchising. And what you said, Nneka, is one of the things that really actually motivated me. In Nigeria, you don't see too many winning examples of franchises. And even when you do, people always talk about the Mr. Big story. Mr. Big's franchise, and then they failed as a result. The reason is because our culture. You have to understand the nuances here. We're in a part of the world where people all want to do their own thing. It's very hard for people. They don't feel they should abide by any books. I'm just calling a spade a spade. So we knew the kind of mountains we would have to face. We knew the challenges and the obstacles. And that's why it took us 2 years to document every single thing. But now that the franchise has launched, every single day, the franchise team is having interviews with potential franchisees, checking locations, and we interview rigorously. There's a due diligence process. There's the interview. It's not about you just having the funds to open a spot. It's about whether or not we have like-minded values, whether or not as the owner, you're going to be involved. You don't have to be full-time, but are you going to be involved? Do you have any passion for changing lives, impacting lives? So franchise was the answer to us. And I'm a product of books. If you look right behind me, around the corner from me, I have over 200 books on my bookshelf. I read. I consume knowledge. And I began to look and see, how do people expand? How do people scale? Distribution and franchising are 2 sure ways. Just because there wasn't a great example for me in this Nigerian market doesn't mean I cannot do it. So I decided to own the narrative of franchising here and allowing people. Now, I know when we franchise, the investment that it takes to open a new location, depending on the size and the location you're placing your spot in, your return on investment can be as little as 6 months. 6 months, you can get a return on what you spend. So I started thinking that people need to get a piece of this big pie. The spa and wellness industry is currently today worth $583 billion. People need to get a piece of this pie. So I thought, we can't go everywhere. Right now, we have a franchisee in Dublin, Ireland, who's looking to come on board. Is ORÍKİ really going to open the Dublin, Ireland location? We could, but it would be a lot more difficult than to partner with a franchisee who takes our name, takes our systems, proven system, fail-proof, opens the location, we support them, and now voila, ORÍKİ's in Ireland. So that was the reason why it became the option of choice. The other choice for those listening and thinking that, okay, franchising is difficult. What about those people who are going to open your business and then in 5 years they want to change the name and you're going to find yourself in so many court cases? Because I'm sure people think that all the time. The other way is to just continue to expand organically or get an influx of investment to say, okay, I want to open 30 locations in the next 1 year. I need X amount of money, and you get it. But at the same time, that wouldn't be empowering other people. And for us, we also wanted to empower people to get a piece of this market and to partake in this hundreds of billion-dollar industry and make money while also transforming lives.
I have a next question, but now that you've talked about it, let's just stretch that last bit a bit. Tell me the different ways, or tell us the different ways that ORÍKİ is touching lives, changing lives, and creating opportunities, especially within the Nigerian context where unemployment is, a very palpable issue for our youth and women.
So I'm really excited about this part of ORÍKİ. We're such an impact-driven company from day one. From the initial production, our idea was to source from local farmers, get our shea butter from our ladies in Nasarawa, get our turmeric from the north, get our hibiscus from the north, and just really provide economic means of living for our farmers. So that's one way, that's the product side, and that continues to scale. So as we open more locations, as we distribute more around the world, of course, we are procuring more volume and impacting them more. But then also we have the ORÍKİ Training Institute. We realize that, listen, unemployment is at a staggering percentage. It's high and increasing. And Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is doing a lot. People are rising up in this space. It's an all hands in kind of problem. It's an opportunity for us to say, listen, everybody may not get a bachelor's or master's degree, but we can provide a vocational study. Now, anywhere in the world, like in North America, being a spa therapist is a profession. It's a career, and people get into it with joy and make good money from it. So we thought, why not train more people to come into this ecosystem, to come into this impact-driven, care-driven sector and become professional therapists? It's also going to help us solve our problem of the demand being more than the supply. So we launched the ORÍKİ Training Institute to train people how to come in and take courses and learn how to be a massage therapist and esthetician, to learn how to take care of people, pamper them in the spa and wellness industry. In addition to that, just providing jobs. So, currently we grow year to year, the number of people we're employing and hiring, the number of people who we're giving opportunities to also increases year by year. And then, of course, you talk, the impact is also going to be to the franchisees, providing opportunities for people as well to join the industry and make, a good money from it as well. So those are some of the ways in which.
Okay, so somehow we've kind of landed at the bit where we're already talking about the ORÍKİ. Sorry, my camera is mirrored, so I don't know which way to turn. So I'll just switch it off because I'm
You're fine the way you are.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll just stay like this. I think this is what. Okay, so now we've kind of segued into the fact that ORÍKİ has launched a franchise system as well as a training institute. Now, there are two things I want to discuss. Again, you mentioned a few minutes ago about our culture. There's a bit about our culture. Again, I have some experience in customer service, and there's a bit about our culture that I never really understood, which is the fact that socially we're such a respectful people, but when it comes to providing service, there's almost this entitlement, like, I'm not supposed to be serving you or something. I'm not really sure what it is or how that translates. And you now find out that, for instance, there's a lot of customer service is not natural, in that it's forced. You're just one or two comments away from getting a snide remark or an eye roll. So how do you manage and I know you talked about structures, right? But how do you manage the customer service bit, even for your franchises? And we're going to talk about the issues associated with franchising, but even for your franchises and then the people in your institute, how do you convey? Because the ORÍKİ brand comes across as being, very customer centric, as well as, product focused and impact as well. So how do you address, in addition to structures, right? Because we've handled that. So how do you address the customer service issue to be able to ensure that, people's experiences are just consistent and premium all the time?
So it's a complete reorientation. To be able to do this, first of all, we always get into the shoes of our customer service officers, always. They are very fond of the management team, and even myself, when we have staff meetings, saying that we know it's difficult. For example, we paint scenarios. We know that this customer may have come in, she or he has a burden on their back, on their shoulders. They just feel like the world is collapsing on. And then they come into the spa and they treat you in a very negative, nasty way, for lack of better words. But what's our core? We remind them, reorientation. We remind them that our first core value is nurture. It's difficult. I'm not even here to downplay it. And that's why our customer service officers, we call them the face of the company. We call them the first impression people. They control the narrative, because by the time you kill someone with kindness, who's come in with a very, very terrible attitude, and you just keep killing them with kindness, they're going to have to calm down, unless they are a crazy individual. They're going to have to calm down. And even when they don't, get our customer service officers, which we call, again, the face of the company, to understand that it's not personal, and that we want to leave an impression on this individual, to let them know that we are customer centric. We have love coursing through the company's vein. We want you to feel special, even when. Now, of course, some of us are thinking customers can be really bad, and does that mean that they should take anything that a customer deals to them? No. Of course, if it becomes extreme, physical, anything like that, we do not accept it. If there's abuse, we don't accept it. However, we realize that we have a job to do, and that is to pamper. And when your child is wayward and acting up and throwing a tantrum, you don't necessarily, you love the child. You love the child, and you try to use mechanisms to get them to do better and feel better. And that's what we do. So for us, the real phrase or word is reorientation. And that's actually one of the distinctions with ORÍKİ. I mean, I literally probably have been to 13 or 14 spas in Nigeria because, since we started, just to get the experience. Because I mean, if you're on this call and you're an entrepreneur, you know that you need to understand what your USP is. You need to know what your competitors are doing. Just depends. Not everything they're doing, but just understand what they're dishing out to their customers. And I have to tell you, and I say it very proudly, and not because I'm the founder, we have a unique way about how we handle customers. Our customer service is key, and it's what distinguishes us. In fact, most of our feedback you would read says customer service was immaculate. Customer service. Sometimes customers would even comment on a difficult customer that came in while they were in the building and how our customer service officers took care of the customer or killed them with kindness or whatnot. So it's difficult, but we understand our job. It's like how a doctor knows that sometimes in the most difficult cases, they have to come and face it, have a straight face and tell the truth in the midst of the fact that the family it feels a certain way or it's quite emotional. We just know that it's our job. It's our job to do, and we do it. I mean, because to be honest, when I first came to Nigeria for the first time in 2011, the first shocker to me was the lack of customer service. And my first business idea was to create a customer service training institute. And I thought, let me take a survey. Started going around to different restaurants in Abuja, that's where I was living, asking them, would you be interested in putting your staff through customer service training? And all of them said, what for? I think only 2 out of 10 said, I mean, I consider it, but why? You know what the response was? Our Nigerians don't care. They're going to keep coming here to eat because we serve the best jollof rice. We serve this. We do this. They don't care. So imagine a company deciding to really imbibe the culture of service. That's ORÍKİ. We would stand out like a sore thumb, and that's what we're meant to do. That's our mission. So our recruitment and our interviews for our customer service officers, they're rigorous. We need to know if they're pushed against the wall, can they still kill someone with kindness? That's our mission.
Wow, that's really incredible, because I also had a business idea around customer service, and there was also that issue of who will pay. And I kept being told, leave small businesses alone. Leave small businesses alone. Go to medium-sized businesses. The corporates have their customer service systems. The medium-sized businesses, that's where there's opportunity. And I was like, but I want to serve small businesses. The crux of the economy is that nobody's going to pay. Nobody's going to pay. So you're absolutely correct. And there is that huge gap till tomorrow in customer service and consistent customer experiences, right? So now I'd like us to move more firmly, or to stay more firmly on the concept of the institute, the ORÍKİ Institute, as well as the ORÍKİ franchise experience opportunity. So the ORÍKİ Training Institute. Now, I've run a small business before, and I was into production. And I was listening to your story at the beginning. And one of the most difficult things when you run a small business that's into production of any kind is stabilizing your product, right? So when you said you did the formulation and you now know how to formulate your products, and you're now able to standardize your products, because we see a lot of people, like you said, these ingredients are vast and readily available. We're rich, resource rich, right? So there's no shortage of people that have shea butter creams, turmeric soap, black soap, all of that. But you find 2 things. One, a lot of the time, a lack of consistency in the product. So today the shea butter can be white, tomorrow it can be cream, next tomorrow it can be off-white, and the day after it can be yellow. Then also there's the issue of stabilization. You keep the product, most of these products are supposed to have shelf life after being open for 1 year. But because we're formulating these things in our kitchen, by the time you open it, all of a sudden it changes color, and you're not really now sure if it's even the same, if it's even as effective. Maybe you should just, I know how many tubs of stuff I've thrown away. Sometimes my daughter and I will be doing tug of war. No, Mama, it's still good. I'm like, but it has changed color. It can still be good. So I'm figuring that this is part of the problem that the ORÍKì Training Institute is going to solve, which is teaching people how to formulate using these vast resources that we have access to create localized products. So please, if you could tell us more about the ORÍKì Training Institute.
Okay, just to correct, the Training Institute is focused specifically on the spa side, so not products. We don't do formulation. We focus on training therapists and estheticians to take up a career and join the industry. However, on formulation, we actually have a manufacturing facility, and we do not formulate. I started off in 2014 before I started formulating in my home, before we started going retail, before we opened our doors. We actually built a manufacturing facility. We have a team of scientists, botanists, chemists, cosmetic formulators. We have an amazing team of scientists that are all part of a full lab for testing, for every kind of testing you can imagine. And we actually contract manufacture for 21 other brands. So we've actually built out the entire production side of our company. And your points are very valid. Yesterday, I was on a call last night for an upcoming expo, the Botanical and Natural Expo in February. And I'm the Nigerian correspondent. And I remember I was talking to the SA correspondent, and he was talking about consistency and how that's always been the problem here in manufacturing, because there haven't really been that many solid manufacturers that could produce according. And I think that's why ORÍKì manufacturing grew to the way it was. We wanted to solve that problem as well. However, there's a bit of two sides to your question. There's a sensitization and the education that has to happen. Shea butter, the example you used, and I'm just going to use it because you mentioned it. Shea butter has different colors, different scents, different feels, depending on the part of the world it comes from, the part of Africa it comes from, and the how old the nuts are. So there's white shea butter, there's ivory, there's yellow. And then, of course, if you have your shea butter in your car and you open the jar, it would have been melted. And if it re-solidifies, it's going to be a different consistency than the original way it was. So shea butter is something that actually does change. It can change. However, some of the big companies use ingredients to stabilize and, to make them into a certain type of way and form. However, if you're truly talking all natural, your shea butter will come in different forms. That's the reason why, production-wise, we try to get from one source. We know our batch records, we know our batches and everything like that. Now, in addition to the shea butter issue, now, of course, there's no reason why you should open a shampoo and it's runny today and thick tomorrow. That's a production problem. That is a standardization problem. That's a stability problem, and it needs to be looked into. But of course, in this part of the world, we have a lot of people who are just creating from their homes, creating from the roadside, creating from wherever they're creating a basement, wherever, and there's not really enforcement and regulation on breaking down and cracking down on them. So that has been a challenge. However, ORÍKì is fully NAVDAC certified. Our facility is NAVDAC certified. Our customers who contract manufacture can actually use our facility to become NAVDAC certified. We have it all set, production room, storage room, raw material room, formulation room. Everything is there. So we do get the question every single day about teaching formulation. I believe we go where we're called. It may happen in the future where we decide to teach because we've built such an amazing team and a facility. However, as of right now, we don't teach formulation. We just basically preach the message that know your ingredients, know your company, know where they're manufacturing from, make sure they're NAVDAC regulated, and be a educated consumer as much as you require integrity and responsibility from the producers and the manufacturers. You as well need to be educated about where you're purchasing from.
Yeah, but if we look at what you're saying, then in addition to getting formulation training, then people should really be looking at where possible contract manufacturing until you're able to build your brand to a place where you can actually get the right equipment and everything, because it's not necessarily the most sustainable way for your product or even for your brand to be, just mixing things that are not stable, right? Okay, so thank you for clarifying. So the Training Institute is specifically for spa skills, right? Yes. So what kind of trainings are available and what are the durations? If I come to the Training Institute, what can I live as? And where are the opportunities?
So we have over every single type of massage: hot stone, deep tissue, Swedish, Balinese. You learn everything. The full course, if you're taking the full course, which is like you've never been a spa therapist, you want to learn, you want to get into this industry. It's 5 months and it's very comprehensive. All your facials, every facial, how you do consultations, anatomy and physiology, because you have to know the body, how to do a prenatal massage, how to do nail care services, pedicure, manicure. Then there's also different levels. So you can choose courses. You can choose to only take the massage course. You can choose, you want to be a masseuse. You can choose to take the facial courses only. You can choose to take waxing. So there's an entire module on waxing the entire body, different types of wax, honey wax, sugar wax, every kind of wax, hard wax. And then you can also decide you want to just get a refresher course. So you may be a therapist already, you don't do waxing, and your spa or you as an individual, you want to upskill, you can come in and take just the wax module, which is about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and come out knowing how to wax.
It is a training institute for spa therapists.
Yes.
And then there are different modules. So there's modular training. And if you want the whole shebang, it's 5 months. I think there's a lot of market there because, I don't know, I feel like I blinked and woke up one day and almost every salon has a spa. And I'm like, how did we get here? Like literally, just like that. Is it just by having a space and getting a bed that makes you a spa? So I think that that's a good opportunity. And also for your product distribution as well. Because a lot of these people are, again, either formulating products which are not stabilized or standardized, or importing their products, which could be very expensive. And again, you're not really sure what goes into the product. A lot of consumers are now very conscious about, the ingredients that go into their product. So please, can you tell us about the franchising experience? Because the franchising opportunity now, as I said, is an opportunity for anybody around the world to become associated with the ORÍKİ brand and to be able to provide the ORÍKİ experience anywhere.
The topic of today was all about how to build a spa and wellness brand from anywhere in the world. And that's exactly what franchising is all about. So the franchising experience allows someone to buy into our already proven system and model and take it to whichever community that they want. So I'll take an example of one of our franchisees who's coming on board. He has taken up a location in Abuja, also in Nugu, and also Port Harcourt. With that model, he is going to be the first in 2 of those states, for example, and he's going to be like a master franchisee, someone who, as more people are coming into those states, he's the one steering the ship for those areas. To become a franchisee, it's a process. You start off with an introductory meeting, and that can be found on ORÍKİTrainingInstitute.com for whoever is interested. You just submit an inquiry, you book on the calendar for a meeting. A meeting is had where we do what a franchise prospectus call. We take you through the prospectus and show you exactly everything about the ORÍKİ opportunity. So how much the investment would be, what's the return on investment, what you get out of it. So the support you get from us, the training, the documentation, everything. And that starts the journey. From then on, after that call, you would sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, as well as receive a franchise disclosure document. That is the document that shows you the contractual agreements for this arrangement. And at the point of you signing it, you would pay the franchise fee. That starts you on your journey of looking for locations, locating. We support through all that. We have to confirm the location is a good one and it's good to go. And then we support you on your way. As you renovate, as you create your spa, we're there to train train your initial team, your initial management team, make sure everybody's up to par. Like I mentioned before, you get all the documentation you need. You get a tech system, a full-on tech system for your bookings and your scheduling. Loystar provides services as well for loyalty and for things like the tech aspect, scheduling. So that's all part of what you get. And then you get our support. Now, a franchisee is just the fact that once you buy into the system, you pay a royalty fee every month from your revenue. So it's just a percentage of your revenue gets paid to the franchisor, which is ORÍKİ Group. And that's exactly how we're able to go all over the world. So our goal is to open 1,000 franchisees in the next 5 years. That also includes our mobile opportunity. So one thing I must mention is that our franchise opportunity is in 2 parts. We have the standalone spa locations where you can open a location in the community near you. And in addition to that, we also have the mobile franchisee, which is so exciting. We have some major announcements coming out around that, but that's for the person who wants to own their career and be on the go. So it's even for those who are already doing home services, and they want to have more of a market. we're giving you an entire tech system to be able to provide mobile spa services in people's homes and in their offices on the go. So imagine you sign up as a mobile franchisee, you're part of the program, you receive on your app, you receive that you are booked for 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. And you go and have your services, you get paid a very nice amount, and that is another opportunity with the mobile franchisee. So standalone spa franchise and mobile franchise.
Okay, awesome. I think that answers someone's question about freelance masseuse. So I figure it's close, right? So like you can work on your own hours.
Yeah, that's a mobile franchisee. That's it. That's Olajumoke's question.
Yeah, awesome. For Chika, who's asking about the franchisee in Port Harcourt, it may be more opportune at this time, since they have not yet launched, for you to get in touch with ORÍKİ Group directly, and then you can have that conversation with ORÍKİ Group. Please, if you could drop your contact details in the chat so people can get in touch with you directly.
The institutes directly.
Yes, yeah. They can get in touch
with the franchise.
They can make inquiries regarding the franchise opportunity. Now, what are the requirements to become a franchisee, either as a standalone or as a mobile franchise operator?
So the interview process is 2 parts. Your financial ability, of course, you have to be able to afford to create the spa. If you're doing the standalone, to renovate and to completely create and develop the spa and pay the franchise fee. So the financial aspect is one requirement. And the other one is who you are as a person. So we interview based on your interest, your ability, your commitment and passion for the industry and for nurture, for pampering others. We do a due diligence background, of course, to make sure the records are clear. There's no criminal records or anything like that. So normal due diligence, like as if somebody was receiving a grant or doing a high level interview that needed security clearance. We do that type. So we're looking for specific qualities. You can imagine that we've gotten a lot of people who have the money but may not have the other side that we're looking for. So you cannot be someone who just has the money to be able to pay the franchise fee and open a location, but you're not interested in overseeing it. Like you say, oh, I'm not going to be involved. I'm just going to put a team there. That's fine. I'm not involved in the operations of ORÍKİ every day. I'm involved in the strategy and the growth, but I do not work in the spas. However, you need to have an oversight. You need to have an interest. And those are some of the qualities that we look for.
What about for people that currently have spas and want to transition to being a part of the ORÍKİ brand? How do they proceed?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, if you already have a spa and you want to join the ORÍKİ family, you're going to be interviewing for a franchise. And it would mean everything. It would mean completely rebranding to ORÍKİ. It would mean buying into our systems. That means you're using our entire system. You're using, the ORÍKİ way. You're using our documentation, our SOPs, our checklists, everything. And that's the conversation that we can definitely have with people as well.
Okay, a few more questions. There was a question I wanted to ask around the front. Okay, so as you mentioned, right, we talked about transitioning another brand into ORÍKİ. What about, as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, what about the plan for if people want to transition out of ORÍKİ? If they want to have, is there currently a thought through exit strategy for the franchisee? So for instance, is it possible, has it been thought through? And people might just be thinking, what if I don't want to do this ad infinitum? So has that been thought through? And do you have any words on that at this time?
If I got your question correctly, like they no longer want to do the spa business, is that what you mean?
Or have the franchise?
Yeah, so it's a 5-year contract that you sign.
Okay. So I think that answers it. Yeah, so it's a 5-year franchisee contract. Okay, which is renewable,
yes,
right?
Renewable. Yes. It's encouraged to renew. Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll want to renew. But, just sometimes you just want to know that you're not, you have an exit strategy. So 5 years, I think, is more than enough time for everybody. So there is the conversation right now that's very important. I know we're at the hour, but there's a very important conversation right now around AFCFTA. How do you see this panning across as an African opportunity? to address the two sides, the supply side regarding ingredients, and also, enabling mostly women farmers and producers of these ingredients across Africa. And then also expanding your distribution of not just products, but also your spa experiences across Africa.
I mean, the African Continental Trade Agreement will be such an amazing thing. It's been back and forth for so many years. It's going to open the floodgates for us. If you can imagine, sometimes getting a ticket or getting a shipment from Kenya is more expensive than getting one from the US. It's unbelievable. So it's ridiculous. Buying even a ticket can be cheaper to London than it can be to go to Egypt. It's ridiculous. So for us, it'll be a welcome development, because it's going to allow the floodgates and the doors of Africa to be open, which to me is my joy, because I want to see, we're proudly Nigerian. We are headquartered in Nigeria, but my dream is really an African dream. I really want to see Africa compete globally in the market. I really want to see a day where the world is literally looking at Africa as one and saying, if we don't get these people, if we're not in line with them, we're missing out. Like, Africa is a giant. I just can't wait. And that's what the AFCTA is going to do. It's going to allow me to be able to work with the farmer in Kenya easier, work with like Morocco. They have so many of the ingredients we love and we like to use. We find ways to bring our shipments in. There's not easy movement through the borders. And so I'm looking forward to that welcome development, because it would help us unify. It would help us to be able to expand better. It'd help us to be able to say, listen, truly, I'm able to source moringa from South Africa easily without all this extensive import duty and cost. And I'm able to get my shea from Nigeria, and I'm able to get my hibiscus from XYZ place. So I'm really excited to see that happen, and I hope it happens soon. We've been on it for too long.
Yeah, we don't want to wait too long. There's so many opportunities for AFCFTA, for products, for services, for technology. It's just, we're just waiting for to be able to reap those benefits. So we're on this call courtesy of our good friends at Loystar. So can you tell us the ORÍKì relationship with Loystar and how we're going to the experience, what ORÍKì Loystar experience we can look forward.
So we love the great people at Loystar. Congratulations and well done to Ayo and his team. For us, it's quite exciting to work with them, because loyalty is so important. Loyalty is so important in this business. We've considered so many things, the membership model in the past, but what we see is that our customers are repeat customers. So you can imagine the ability to incentivize them to keep coming over and over again. So we have some interesting things on the pipeline that Ayo and his team are creating for us, and imagine scale. So as we scale and our franchisees come on board, everyone's going to be using the Loystar system for what they're creating for us. And we really look forward to even doing more and more with them. One thing I love about them is that they're so adaptable. If you come and talk to the team and say, here's a need that I'm seeing, I understand you do loyalty, but I also think it'd be important to have this scheduling feature. They look into it and they get right to work on it. So we look forward to doing more and more with them on this journey as far as loyalty and scheduling and just incentivizing our customers.
Loyalty is so important. I took my daughter to a salon. There was a salon that she had started visiting while I wasn't around. And of course, I came back and I had to continue taking her to the salon. And apparently they had a loyalty card and she didn't have one. I was like, but this is your customer, right? Yeah. And they were like, okay. The person was like, they hadn't seen her before. And I was like, where's your stylist? And her stylist came and was like, oh yeah, she's my customer. She's been here 4 times. And so they now brought out her card and it's manual. So they take it off. So they ticked it off 4 times for the previous visit. And now they've closed for school. So now she said, we have to go back. I need to get my food, whatever, because by the time she gets to 10 stars, she gets a discount, Yeah. And so the customer experience, there's a particular cookie they give her there. And for that reason, like, she wants to go back every time. So customer experience and loyalty is really big business, and the numbers are there. It's cheaper to retain customers than it is to get new customers.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, it's just been an incredible conversation. And what are your last words? 1, for people in the service industry. 2, for people in the wellness industry. and 3, for customers in general. You said something that I found very important earlier, which is that, after the lockdowns, people started taking wellness and prioritizing and how they take care of their bodies. So for those that haven't yet caught on, I'd like you to say something to them. I'd like you to say something to people that serve customers, customer service people. I'd like to say something to people in the wellness space. I'd like to say something to general customers. And all of that I know is tied to ORÍKì. And I don't want you to say, I'd like to say something about ORÍKì. But if you speak to all of those 3, you'd have said a lot about ORÍKì. So over to you.
Okay, I hope I can remember the different categories, but
wellness and, customers, people that want to take care or should be taking care of themselves.
So people in service, wellness, and then customers, right? So after COVID, the World Economic Forum did research. It kept a statistic that says 40% of the jobs created post-COVID will be in the care industry. Care industry. Why? Because people have woken up. Life is short. Tomorrow is not promised. Taking care of yourself is key. Health is wealth. We've heard them all the time, but now we really understand. I'm sure every single person on this call lost someone that they know in COVID. It is high time we take care of ourselves. For those of us in the service-based industry, I'm speaking next week on the 13th at a conference focused on profit, growing, and scale. And my topic is called Called to Serve. Called to Serve. And I created my presentation about the impact-driven model. If you are in the service industry, you need to be thinking about impact. Those are the companies that are going to stand the test of time. It's not revenue only. It's not profit we're looking at. It's impact. How are you changing lives? Because you change lives, the money will come. We are invaluable. We used to think Mondays would be a day that maybe we'd have a few customers. We're now fully booked on Mondays. Wellness is here to stay. So to my people who are fellow in the hospitality and service industry, keep thinking about impact and providing value to your customers. Find unique ways, do a market survey, do a market scan, see what's being done and where you can do things differently. We know where we know our differentiator at ORÍKì and we stick to it. Then for those, our customers, every single one of us, when's the last time you pampered yourself? When's the last time you took care of yourself? When's the last time you did something that was just light and relaxing? Prioritize it today. It's key. It's incredibly important. The topic of today was how to build a spa and wellness business out anywhere in the world. Right now, hotels that don't have spas, they're feeling it. They're all looking for how to get a spa into their business because they realize that people are going to go to a hotel. It's an opportunity for them to get pampered and rest. So we realize statistics are there. Statistics are showing us that now is a time to really, really prioritize self-care. So I encourage every one of us to take it as a priority. Anyone who's interested in owning an ORÍKì spa, being in this industry, it's a lucrative one, but it's an impact-driven one. That's what's even more important to me. We're called to serve. So I encourage you all to come and join this wellness industry. It's fast growing, over 20% increase per year. It's showing right now and the doors are open. We're here. Please contact us at ORÍKItraininginstitute.com. Fill out a form for us to contact you and let's get the show going.
Is someone holding your hand? I thought there was a small person that came in and was holding your hand.
But they want to come into the office, but they can't.
There was something that you said, and I wanted to just close with this. We're going to have a couple of videos from ORÍKì for those who are not, as you know, if you're not familiar with the brand, okay. But if, welcome. But, for the rest of us, we're going to show a couple of videos from ORÍKì. But there was something else I wanted to say, and that's about franchising, right? And about one of the benefits of franchising. One of the benefits of franchising is that you plug into a ready-made system, right? You're not going to be looking for how to do your marketing, how to get your customers, how to do your branding, how to do your SOPs, right? How do you recruit? How do you employ? All of that has already been done for you, right? And that's the whole concept of a franchise, that you can literally plug in. And it's mutually beneficial. As he has said, they have customers all over the place. They can be everywhere. If you're getting their franchise, you're going to be helping the ORÍKì brand serve customers in that location. And you're going to be making impact as well as revenue and getting value from it as well. So it's mutually beneficial. Nobody is getting more from it. Everybody benefits, right? And then people know exactly what it is they're getting. Just because I want to ask you something. There was one time one of my former colleagues went for a massage. She said the person was jumping on her back. Is that normal?
Jumping? So depending on the service, they climb on your back. That's deep tissue and Balinese. They'll get on and they'll use their body weight, not like full body to body, but but jumping, no. That's wrong.
Can I skip? I think I still need my spine for a few more years. Yeah, okay. Point being, there's a lot of quackery in the spa space. Like I said, at some point, we just woke up one day and every single salon had a false wall with a bed and white draping and some candles. And all of a sudden, they're running a spa. So if that is you, this is an opportunity to repent. Please go to the ORÍKì Institute and get trained, get proper training, plug into a global standardized brand with proper products, get proper training, and stop jumping on people's backs like monkeys, right? And if you're looking for how to find proper expression as a spa therapist, also go to the ORÍKì Institute. If you're looking for an investment, listen. If you've ever listened to Joycey, and I've been trying. I've been trying to get a range from her on this phone, which is why I haven't specifically talked to the spa. Those who are not familiar with her, you can see her breath, right? She's not just about spa, right? She's a very deep person. And I'm hoping that you've seen some of that here. And a lot of that is poured into her brand. If you are looking for an investment, honestly, and it's even better for you if you're not in Lagos or if you're on the mainland. She has given you a lot of expo. People pay, on Instagram, people pay for breathing. If you want to breathe on Instagram, you pay. People pay for this information. So I'm hoping that there are people on this call who have an interest or have a calling in this space and are going to check it out. I believe she's put the website for the Training Institute. So you can go there, find out more information, and I'm sure there's contact details there, so you can get in touch with her team, and then they can take you through the process. And hopefully, I'll be really excited in 3 or 6 months to hear that 1 or 2 people from this call transition into successful franchise holders with the ORÍKì brand.
Would you like to set up your own business in the spa and wellness industry with zero risk of failing and proven high returns? Here is an opportunity to buy the ORÍKì franchise and be your own boss.
We're looking for people who not just have the economic means, because anyone could have that, but who are also just inspired when it comes to changing people's lives and transforming people. We want people who say that, every single day I'm making an impact. When people come into the doors of an ORÍKì spa, they don't leave the same way. They come in a certain way and they leave restored and rejuvenated. So we're looking for like-minded people who believe in healing, who believe in love, who believe in pampering, restoration, and rejuvenation.
ORÍKì Group is the first Nigerian indigenous organization to build a luxury wellness spa chain with its own farm-to-skin product range, a training institute offering comprehensive spa training programs and consultancy services for spa professionals and entrepreneurs, and a franchise program for both mobile and outlet franchisees.
Joycey, so closing words from you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope that hearing my words really cements the ORÍKì opportunity and the wellness and spa opportunity in general. It's vast, and we welcome you in. Come join us on this movement of impacting and transforming lives.
Thank you so much, Joycey, and thank you everyone for having us. Thank you, Loisa, for hosting us. It's been an incredible and very enlightening session, and all the very best with ORÍKì as a mother brand, as well as the Institute and the franchise business. We wish you every success.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.